Hello, this is Dan Ferrisi, Group Editor, Commercial and Security with Commercial Integrator here at ISE 2025 at the HDBaseT Alliance booth, joined by Blaine from Diversified, Nati from AudioCodes. We're going to be talking about AI and IA, what these things mean. Are they the same? Are they different? Thank you so much for joining me. Would each of you like to just briefly introduce yourselves?
Hey everyone, Blaine Brown. I'm Vice President of Innovation for Diversified's Intelligent Spaces group, and we specialize in developing services and technologies for the workplace environment and figuring out how to leverage things like AI and automation within those spaces.
Thank you for hosting me. My name is Nati Davidi. I'm managing the devices for a company called AudioCodes. We partner with Microsoft and Zoom mainly, but not only, in terms of devices, both IP phone and meeting rooms. So we are working behind the scenes, helping partners like Diversified to deliver the products to the customers.
So to begin the conversation, let's define our terms. Everyone knows AI is artificial intelligence. I've heard other people say, though, it's not about AI, it's about IA, it's about intelligent automation. The idea of giving humans the tools to automate rote tasks so they can focus on where they really add value. It's not about some kind of separate intelligence. Do you think it's about IA? Do you think it's about AI? Is it about both, or are they the same thing?
Well, I think that the term AI obviously gets used for so many different things, right? I mean, it applies to all the really fancy and cool things we've seen, from LLMs and chatbots to everything from machine learning algorithms that might run on a specific piece of hardware, like a camera, right? So it's a very broad term, and so I think it's important that we do have some other terms that we can go to kind of define what we're talking about. I like the term, intelligent automation, because that's really where we're seeing a lot of the benefits spring up within collaboration environments and those sorts of things, where the devices themselves are getting more intelligent. They're with the goal, the ultimate goal here, regardless of what acronym you use, is to elevate the user experience, right? To make it less friction, to make it easier to use, and more enjoyable. And that's what some of these technologies are finally allowing us to do. For those that have been in the industry, like I have for 25 years, we've watched this evolution of trying to make rooms as simple to use as possible. At one point you had to dial phone numbers to do a video conference, right? ISDN. And then you had one-touch join eventually. And now we're getting to the point where the intelligence in the room, the cameras, the audio DSPs, are almost functioning autonomously, right? I mean, it's still not perfect, but it's getting there. And I think with the ultimate goal of making it so that the user doesn't have to interact with the room, doesn't have to hit the preset buttons. It just, more intelligently moves and operates on that user's behalf, and almost to the point of wanting the technology to become invisible to the user so they can focus on the meeting and not operating the meeting.
Nati, what would you add?
Yes, so I will start from what he ended. So what we would like the people to think, focus on the meeting. What we are telling them, focus to look on the other side and focus on the conversation, okay? Instead of trying to understand how to operate. So when you're talking about AI and automation, so the automation should lead the fact that you can talk with the other people, you can talk with people in the room, and not worry, is the camera looking on me? Is the camera looking on my side? Can they hear me? What will happen with what we are saying? Can we save that? Should I bring a notebook and write the notes? No. Focus on the meeting. Focus to be there. Focus to look on the other side. Don't focus on tools. And this is where the automation with AI will get you there.
So if that's the goal, as you say, focus on the meeting, make the technology kind of invisible, just automate the experience a little bit. What would you say are the fundamental bones or the technological underpinnings of making that happen? I mean, you've already alluded to some of them, but fundamentally, what is needed infrastructure-wise to make that happen?
Well, the devices themselves it's already starting to happen. We're seeing it with even vendors that are at the show, at ISE, but there needs to be more intelligence in the cameras, for instance, right? I mean, trying to have a camera auto position based on voice or sound triangulation is the way things used to happen years ago, or a preset that you set isn't the way to move it. It needs to see a face. It needs to know the face's orientation to the camera, be able to switch to a camera that the person's looking at versus maybe looking at the side of my face like on this camera. And it needs to intelligently be able to remove things from audio dynamically, not just notch filtering out noise, but eliminating typing sounds on a keyboard, or eliminating dynamically, like chip bags or something from lunch, right? To improve the experience for the remote participant, right? We've all had this kind of, we've used the term meeting equity quite a bit since the pandemic, but that's where we kind of see AI and IA really being beneficial, is improving that kind of remote experience and feeling more inclusive when you are remote, because 98% of all meetings have a remote participant now, whereas you go back 4 or 5 years and that wasn't the case. And so that's I think that's where we're going to see the most benefit, and where we're starting to see that, and that means smarter, more sophisticated hardware, typically in the space, but it could technically be in the cloud as well in many cases.
So to share from the vendor that is developing that, so what we can share is that there's 2 domains or 2 vectors that are running in parallel. One of them is what we call the vision AI. What we discuss about all kinds of cameras that will frame you correctly, because you really want people to see your face, okay? How we do that, okay? So probably we'll need more than 1 camera in the room, okay? So we used to have an edge of the camera, okay? But then if I'm facing to Blaine, okay, or to you, it cannot. So probably we'll need multiple of them, and we'll need to switch between them. The other one is what we called the vision voice generative AI, which is what you hear about chatbots and ChatGPT. But this will bring the fact that, again, don't focus on note-taking, okay? And Microsoft and Zoom talking about that a lot in that show, is that the cloud or the infrastructure will do that note-taking for you. So again, you leave the meeting, and the meeting goes with you. What was said, the intelligence in that, okay? And again, we do not want you to focus to take notes or make the keyboard right with the laptop, or look on the keyboard while others look on you from the other side. Focus on the others, focus on the meeting. So there is the vision part, and there is what we call the voice AI part.
What role, if any, does stable, reliable connectivity play in terms of effectuating positive AI or IA outcomes?
Well, obviously in the industry that we're in, connectivity is the most critical part of anything. I mean, without good, solid connectivity, it just deteriorates the user experience across the board. And I think, with, technologies like from, HDBaseT to that they're doing, as well as, all the other technologies that have kind of evolved to do error correction and all sorts of things. It's really been great for our industry, because gone are the days of us being as concerned about packet loss and those sorts of things, because the networks and the infrastructure has gotten more robust, and it's just as important when you start thinking about incorporating more intelligence into your room as well, because while some of that intelligence will live within that room, not all of it lives within the room. Some of it will live on the edge. We're starting to see a trend where some of these AI models are being deployed in enterprise edge environments, as well as obviously the cloud is where the big language models are, and those sorts of things, Copilot, ChatGPT. And so having stable connectivity to that is important. What you don't want is spotty connectivity that maybe your video call is operating subpar, but then it's cutting out, and you're not getting the full transcript or something, where you've just lost your meeting because then you were relying on that transcript for summaries, and now it's not there. So obviously connectivity is a foundational component of that. It's important, but things have evolved to the point where it's less of it feels like less of a burden, less of a concern. Whereas I think the other kind of parallel aspect of that is security, which is a whole nother conversation we could probably have around the importance of security, privacy, those sorts of things that relates to this as well.
So if I continue that message, right, and I relate to what I said before about vision and voice. So on the voice side, yes, if you want that all kinds of those AI note taking, okay, to happen, you have to have a clear voice from the room, okay. So either you're using in a larger room ceiling microphones, okay, and the display it has to clean because you are relying, okay, on some kind of a machine, either in the cloud, usually in the cloud, okay, to transcribe and understand. So if it has missing type of all kinds of keywords, you will get a summary that later on you might sorry on that, okay? So it all starts from a clear audio. On the vision part, if you look on the room, if you are talking about multiple cameras, you need to connect them, okay? And in the end, you want also the cost to be down, and part of what we are doing is that each of the camera can be extremely simple, okay? And we talked with some of the companies like Valence and others. So each of the cameras can be extremely simple, and we are trying that there will be only single compute on the edge, okay? Talking with the cloud to make that magic of what we call AI director. It means that you have some kind of a director in the room that orchestrating those different cameras. But the connectivity is important because if you lose the data from one of the cameras, it will not work. So we have the voice part, which all that audio needs to pass to the cloud, and there is the vision that needs to be connected, again, in efficient and costly way, because you don't want to pay tons on each of the cameras. It has to be affordable to each of the rooms.
So Blaine, Nati, as we begin to close up the conversation, just some concrete takeaways, especially for integrators, consultants, members of the channel who might be looking to monetize AI, try to find ROI, make sure that they're not just delivering sizzle and dazzle, but actually delivering something actionable and practical. Any takeaways you would give to our audience to make sure they're getting the most out of this and it's not just flash in the pan?
Yeah, I'd say you need to do a certain amount of evaluation of these technologies. There's lots of promise with some of them, but they also, require kind of specific use cases to be functional. And so that inherently means you got to, as an integrator, from that perspective, you need to test these and make sure they're, going to fill the application that you're looking to deploy them on. But I think the kind of exciting part about it is that we're watching this evolution of automation that's happening that is truly positively impacting the operation of the spaces, and it's making things more intuitive, more easy to use, and it's honestly it's just going to we're at the worst it'll ever be right now, right? And it's really not too bad, and so it's exciting to think about where things are going for me as well, because that's a lot where I focus within our company. And I don't know if you want me to touch on where I think things are going. That might.
By all means.
Yeah, sure. Personally, I think that where we're heading is kind of the next step of this is with the AI as it relates to collaboration spaces is actually to go beyond just the transcription and the summary and all the great things you get with Copilot and Zoom AI and those sorts of things, and actually have almost like an intelligent assistant help you in the room, right? Almost like a Jarvis, if you will. So now, instead of it just being a passive component that takes notes and summarizes things for you, potentially it could be something that helps you operate the room. You think about having it be context aware of the documents you're sharing and being able to say, hey, pull up this document or this spreadsheet, and have it just find it, pull it up, and display that, and you be able to interact with it. Almost like this intelligent agent that could be this additional resource that's in the room with you. That's an AI. We think that's going to be a pretty powerful next step. We also see the AIs themselves being more turning into more of these autonomous agents, right? That can do tasks on your behalf while you're not working with them. We've seen a lot of announcements just in the last week. Where these things are doing tasks for you. You leave it, you come back, 20, 30 minutes later, and it's done all kinds of deep research for you and those sorts of things. And that's going to that's going to trickle into the video collaboration and collaboration space, because within that space we're meeting about concepts and we're doing research and we're doing, our customers are going to benefit from that evolving technology that's evolving very rapidly. And so it's kind of up to us as integrators to understand where it is, where it's going, how to leverage it to kind of help our customers, because they don't, it's moving so fast, it's hard for them to keep up with it. And I think that's a value, you can potentially bring that kind of differentiates you as a company to your competitors.
Yes. So to complete what the message is, that I think that if we are looking on the meeting, is that we are trying to help the businesses, and the meeting happening in the room or fully remote, okay, is one step of a journey of the conversation in the organization, okay. You are meeting people between meetings, okay. You are meeting people in the meetings. What AI will take us is that it will try to assemble all the information and help us, okay? Currently, we see a single meeting. So we have the transcription, we have the information from that meeting. What was the summary? Going forward, like you as a human, you accumulate the information over time. So here you're accumulating multiple meetings. And this will happen. And it will be also more business and also personalized. What does it mean? It means that per your role, you are a salesperson, you are product manager, you are different. You will look on this. You will look on that both summary or everything in a different way, and the AI will help you to get a different action and even different summary per your role. So the way you're looking on that information, what you're getting from that meeting, is different from someone else that participated in the same meeting. Why? Because you came with a different mindset, and it will adapt. Currently, we are still in the phase that each meeting is more separate, but it will accumulate similar to what we are doing as human, and will help us to take action that is continuous and not a single meeting by itself.
Really fascinating stuff, and I appreciate kind of the future casting of where things might go. As long as it never says, I can't do that, Dave, and is named Hal, I'll be okay with it. Thank you so much, Nati. Thanks so much, Blaine, for being here today. My name is Dan Ferrisi, Group Editor, Commercial and Security with Commercial Integrator, here at the HDBaseT Alliance booth at ISE 2025, talking about the most topical issues of the day.